Hey, thank you everyone for coming this evening. We have been in closed session since about 5 or so, and we had a technology update before that around 4:30, which was we learned all about dark fiber. So I would like Pierce Johnson from Tustin Ranch Elementary School to come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, as part of our salute to schools, we have Hughes Middle School, which we are saluting for April and May. Their theme, as you can see, is their rich past and bold future. This display features a showcase of student photos featuring academics, arts, school activities, and technologies. For viewing dates and times, call 730-7339. We'd like to thank the Hughes teachers and staff for creating this display. I would like to introduce Hughes Principal Eric Killian, who will give us a brief talk about the display.
Good evening, Superintendent Franklin, Cabinet, the Board of Education, and distinguished guests. It is my privilege and honor to present our Hughes Showcase bulletin board, which is proudly representing the tradition of excellence Hughes is known for over the last 50 years. As we are transforming into 21st century skills, the integration of technology to enhance learning is also clearly demonstrated in the images here and the interactive components built into it. Not only is the integration of technology evident in our students' work, but also in our teachers' practices. This board combines elements of art and the integration of media together, past, present, and future, making one dynamic presentation, embodying the Hughes culture and learning community. This would not have been possible without the vision and leadership of our artist extraordinaire, art teacher, Faith Pei. I like to call her Michelangelo. We would also like to thank teacher and media club instructor Don Anthony for his work and organization on the techie side. As you will see, there is more to it than meets the eye. A special thanks quickly also to Noel Pei Peterson for the photographs, digital learning coach Michelle Chesick, and our coordinator of technology, Garrett Kerr, for their planning and insight. To help present our board now, it is my honor to introduce our student leaders and artists who actually painted the images you see here. They're here to share with you in more detail what you are viewing today and the interactive features of it. We hope you enjoy it.
Hi, I'm Tatiana McTire, and I'm an 8th grader at Hughes Middle School. The board represents the past, present, and future. Starting with our Highlander pointing to the rich past, his plaid scarf begins to pixelate into pictures representing the present. Rich technology with iPads, computers, and yes, cell phones enhances our educational experience, and we believe the sky is not the limit, so we ended in outer space for our bold future.
Hi, I'm Broderick Miziker,
And I'm Ian Shaw.
and we're 8th graders at Hughes, and we helped paint this beautiful mural behind us.
And this is how it all came together. First, we made a scale model where 1 square inch equals 1 square foot.
Then we turned our patio into an art studio, complete with drop cloths, 9 8-foot tables, and chairs on the ends to hold the giant paper roll.
We cut off 6 feet of the painting to paint the Highlander indoors.
Next, we got to work with my favorite medium, spray paint, Montana Gold acrylic for less fumes.
We cut out enormous swirls for the stencils for the swirls Then with a 15 centimeter cap and a 175 or 750 milliliter can, we went to work.
We used a lot of black for outer space and marbleizing technique for the planets.
And the final touch was the stars that you see in the space section.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is John Deere Dorian, and I'm in 8th grade at Hughes Middle School, and I'm going to show you how the digital display works to this. So, what I'm going to do is use this app called Erasma to scan each picture with this label on it. And then the digital display will come up on the monitors.
In culinary arts, we do a heritage project, and Will Ortmeyer chose to do his project on his family's heritage, which is Irish. Will, why did you choose Ireland?
I chose Ireland because I have family from Ireland and have Irish ancestors. And my grandma has visited Ireland multiple times and feels close ties to Ireland. So I asked her a few questions and I learned a lot about my family and our connections to Ireland.
And you can do this if you download the app Erasma, so feel free to do that if you want to.
Thank you very much. I will be coming forward for board recognition. Will the following students come forward? Milan Kautib, first grade, Hicks Canyon Elementary School. Juliet Holdsworth, fourth grade, Arroyo Elementary School, if you're here. Ashton Konage, fourth grade, Peters Canyon Elementary School. And Angela Garcia, fourth grade, Jean Thorman Elementary School. Okay. They are the winners of the Tustin Unified School District Wellness Committee Healthy Meal Contest. The Wellness Committee held this contest for elementary students, and they submitted their healthy lunch ideas. Four winners were chosen from the elementary school. Each menu was featured in the winning school's cafeteria for all students to enjoy. The contest was held to promote health and wellness throughout the district. The winners and their meals are Milan Yum Tum, featuring roasted chicken breast, sweet potato and broccoli, whole wheat roll, apple or orange slices, and milk. Juliet, wait, which one is Juliet? Okay, featuring turkey meatloaf, brown rice, watermelons, celery sticks with ranch and milk. And Ashton, is that you? Ashton had the feast, featuring teriyaki chicken, fried rice, apples, carrots, salad, and milk. And Angela, her healthy meal featured chicken Alfredo with Romano cheese, broccoli, strawberry or watermelon, and milk. Congratulations. Are we seeing the video? Okay, I think that's it. I thought maybe we were going to see a video, but no.
The next one.
Next one?
Yeah.
Okay. The Wellness Committee sponsored a School Wellness Week promotional video contest for students in 3rd through 12th grade. The videos promoted a healthy diet and lifestyle in honor of the district's 7th annual Wellness Week, March 9th to the 13th. The students were invited to create a short, persuasive commercial or video on why it's important to eat healthy and stay active. Prizes for the top winners included front-of-the-line passes at the school cafeteria. And now I think we're going to see some excerpts from the 3 winning videos from Tustin Ranch Elementary School, Utt Middle School, and Tustin High School.
Why am I always running? It's not like I'm gonna get any faster.
I'm always fast. I think I should quit. Come on, guys. We can do it. Let's run and be the fastest we can. Come on. What are you doing?
We're playing games.
But this is the time when we play outside. I just want to sit here and play on my phone. Hey, that's not good. Let's go play Foursquare. We just learned how to play that, and let's not play Pokemon. Oh yeah, let's play that. Woo! Woo! Yeah! Let's go! Yes!
This milk that ice cold, pour it up with some Cheerios. This is for them good kids, them healthy kids, no cavities. Styling, wildin', cooking it up in the kitchen. I got carrots with some spinach on, feeling so good, I'm eating well. I'm healthy, oh yeah. No dentists, no doctors, I'm healthy, oh yeah. Make biggest loser retire, man, I'm healthy, oh yeah. Eat these beans, I'm a spinach fan, I'm healthy, oh yeah. And my band bout that run, break it down. Girls hit your cardio, girls hit your cardio, girls hit your cardio. Cause Uptown Health gonna give it to you, cause Uptown Health gonna give it to you, cause Uptown Health gonna give it to you. Saturday night and we in the gym. Don't believe me, just crunch. Uptown help you up, Uptown help you up. Say what? Uptown help you up, Uptown help you up. Come on. Uptown help you up. Say Uptown help you up. Say what? Uptown help you up, Uptown help you up.
And now we'd like the star winners to come forward. Tustin Ranch Elementary School, Pierce Johnson, Yuriko Mikasa, Alvin Son, Brianna Gonzalez Ulua, and Thomas Park. They're all 5th graders at Tustin Ranch. And from CE Utt Middle School, Mary Hickman and Galela Hutran, both from in 7th grade. And the dancers from Tustin High, Brock Acosta, Sterling Ardrey Bati, Daniel Baker, and Ryan Schultz, all seniors. just going to go back. I understand that Milan Kotib has just arrived. He was the winner of the Yum Tum. Please come forward, Milan. He is in first grade at Hicks Canyon Elementary School, and he won the District Wellness Committee Healthy Meal Contest, Yum Tum, featuring roasted chicken breast, sweet potato and broccoli, whole wheat roll, apple or orange slices, and milk. Congratulations, Milan. Okay, and more design competition and more winners here. Sean Banzan, please come forward. He's a junior at Tustin High School. Is Sean here? Okay. Well, Sean won the 2015 Dinosaur Dash design logo, and his design will be seen on the 25th annual Dinosaur Dash t-shirts. He also won a $250 cash award. Next, Jennifer McCleary, a senior from Beckman High School. Is Jennifer here? Can't see. Okay. Jennifer, is that you, Jennifer? Okay. Jennifer was named a winner in the Intel Science Talent Search competition and selected as one of just 40 finalists across the country. She did a solar energy activity laboratory, SEAL, research projects starting in 8th grade at Concordia University. The mission of SEAL project was to discover metal oxide semiconductors that can efficiently and cheaply catalyze the splitting of water by sunlight so that hydrogen can be stored for future energy usage, such as fuel cell vehicles and for electricity generation at night. The research project was sponsored by Caltech's Solar Army. Jennifer is part of a college-high school hybrid science team called SEALS that meets after school on Fridays to explore which of the 150,000 metals known to man will someday help solve the world's energy crisis. The Intel High School Science Competition recently took place in Washington, D.C. Jennifer presented her work, met with famous researchers, and competed for scholarships. She secured $1,000 for herself and $1,000 for Beckman's chemistry department as a result of being a semifinalist in this national program. Congratulations. Jennifer will be attending MIT in the fall. Okay. We have now the winning CIF Southern Section Division 1A basketball championship team. And I know they're outside there. Okay. We have Lucas Urahu. We have Jacob Sanchez and Connor Stinson. They're juniors. I think that's Lucas first. Oh, just keep coming in, Jacob and Connor. And then Andrew Amon, Matt Avila, Greg Blanchard, Cole Bradley, Nick Filer, Josh Gonzalez, Anthony Lopez, Nicholas Miles, Reed Nakakihara, Riley O'Hearn, Eric Patton, Daniel Schmidt, Samuel Lustio, Nam Tram, assistant coach Jeff Gomez, and head coach Ryan Rusty Van Cleve. The Foothill Knights defeated Edison High School 65-58 on March 7th at the Honda Center. It was the 15th consecutive victory for the number 2 seeded team. Foothill, ranked 4th in the county, finished the season with a record of 28 wins and 3 losses and captured the school's second CIF title. The Knights also won the CIF 3AA title in 2010. Congratulations to head coach Rusty Van Cleve, his coaches, and players. Thanks for coming down. Thank you. Thanks. Ed Hernandez, is he here? Come on up, Ed. Ed is the engineering teacher and T-Tech Academy director at Tustin High School. He has been selected as the 2015 California Career and Technical Education Teacher of the Year. He received the award at the annual Educating for Careers Conference, sponsored by the California chapter of the Association of Career and Technical Education. He will now go on to the National California Teacher, CTE, Career Tech Teacher of the Year program. He was nominated for the award by the Coastline ROP and Irvine Valley College for his participation and success with the UC Irvine Invitational, the OC Maker Challenge, and the school's partnership with Boeing and other college and career readiness activities associated with Tustin High's T-Tech Academy. Congratulations. Career Tech is alive and well in Tustin Unified. I'd like to invite Bob Machado and Tony Faduke up with the Tustin Public Schools Foundation. They are going to make a special presentation.
Before we make the special presentation, I'd like to include tomorrow night at Beckman High, the foundation in conjunction with the district is proudly presenting Josh Vietti, a local hip-hop violinist, live in concert. He'll bring classical music to life. This gentleman is currently featured on ESPN's Sunday NFL Countdown, and he's performed at the Ellen DeGeneres Show and at Dodger Stadium. The entry fee is only $2, and it's tomorrow night at Beckman, starting at 6:30 p.m. However, what we're here to do is present to the district a check for grants totaling $9,128. These are grants from Pioneer Middle School, Curry Middle School, Thurman Elementary, Ott Middle School, Hughes Middle School, and Foothill High School. Okay. Next is our superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mrs. Cinto. Good evening to board, staff, parents, and guests. It's been an exciting month, and I think the board is going to probably report on some of that excitement that's happened in the last couple of weeks. I just wanted to mention that we did hold the Tustin Connect Institute of 2015 at the Irvine Marriott and in Tustin Unified School District. And we certainly appreciate our ongoing relationship with Tustin Public Schools Foundation, who acted as the host of that institute. The purpose was to bring people who are at other school districts working on similar issues as us and trying to change instruction to take advantage of technology. And we had 170 participants from 35 districts, ranging from San Jose out to Barstow and down to San Diego. So it was really a very broad group of educators who came and joined us. One of the highlights of the 3 days was the class visits that took place at Hicks Canyon, Pioneer Middle School, and Tustin High School. And I just wanted to share some of the reflections of those 170 visitors to classrooms at those 3 schools. They were floored, and they literally could not believe the high level of instruction that was going on in classes ranging from kindergarten through high school. From visitor to visitor, from room to room, the comments were, "We can't believe how rigorous the lessons are," demanding very high-level critical thinking by students. They couldn't believe how engaged students were and how well they were collaborating with one another to try and solve these very difficult problems. And the third observation they made was they couldn't believe the ease of use by both teachers and staff and students of the technology itself, that the technology was not a distraction at all, but rather being used as a tool by students and teachers to help solve the problems that were being presented. And so while we continue to learn in Tustin Unified School District, one of our central beliefs is that collaboration makes us stronger and better. We're really pleased to be able to share our progress with other districts who are working on similar initiatives in their own school districts. But one of the things that I just can't say often enough is how proud I am of both our teachers and our principals and our students for the work really that happens every single day. And it just happened that we had 170 guests in those maybe 15 or 20 classrooms on that one particular Thursday morning, but we could have taken them to 850 classrooms on 180 different days and really seen outstanding work. So congratulations to our teachers, our students, and our principals for really playing a host to all of California. It was a great institute.
Okay, we will be taking a break after the student board reps reports for those of you who might want to exit before the rest of the meeting. Just to let you know, we do take a 5-minute break. So we next have our student board representatives report, and I'm going to start with Amanda Wynn from Tustin High School.
Good evening, President Cinto, members of the board, Superintendent Franklin, district staff, and members of the audience. Tonight, it is my pleasure to present the report for Tustin High School. Since we last met, the Tustin Tillers have had a more than busy schedule. To start, I am proud to congratulate our boys basketball team for making it to the semifinal round of the CIF championships, and our girls basketball team for making it to second round CIFs as well. Both teams put in a valiant effort and hope to come back next year more successful. Throughout the month of March, Tustin High School students, in conjunction with Olive Garden's Pasta for Pennies campaign, have been collecting change in their 4th period classes to benefit the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Along with the donations, Tustin High Volleyball will be hosting a leukemia awareness match tomorrow in the Sports Pavilion, where both the players and the fans will be sporting orange in support of the cause. Last Friday, our Tiller buddies were recognized at our home baseball game against Indio, where our players were victorious 6-5. Each student who faces their own adversity was partnered up with a Tiller ball player as the game's first pitch was thrown by Adolfo Tafoya and our national anthem was sung by Amy Huerta, both from the Tiller Buddy program. Other events that have taken place in our sports pavilion include our California State Dance Competition, hosted by our very own dance team. This was a 2-day dance competition that welcomed 43 schools and over 6,000 guests onto the Tustin High campus. As we approach the end of the school year, our seniors have been gearing up for graduation as the college acceptances have come pouring in. Last Thursday, our seniors attended a medieval times senior munch where we all enjoyed a utensil-less feast and dramatic show. This last week, Tustin High was visited by Councilman Bernstein, who acted as our principal for the day. as we gave them a tour of our MUN, STEM, ASB, and AVID programs. Upcoming events include our Sadie Hawkins dance that will take place this Saturday in our very own plaza. The theme for this year's dance is a barnyard bash filled with line dancing and country throwdowns. International Week will take place next week, where we will hold our annual International Assembly and Food Fair. This is a great opportunity for us students to celebrate Tustin High School's ethnic diversity through food, music, dance, and other cultural aspects. Other events this week include Tustin High's Advanced Theater Arts production of Chemo Girl and other plays, this Wednesday through Friday nights. Under the direction of Mrs. Allison Lloyd, our drama teacher, this play is expected to be a real tearjerker, as it follows a story of a teenage cancer patient through her treatment. Lastly, preparations for the next school year are already being made, starting with ASB cabinet and class elections and MUN High Secretariat interviews. These decisions are crucial to student life at Tustin High, seeing that they will determine next year's leadership. This concludes the report from Tustin High. Thank you, and go Tillers!
Lopez from Hillview High School.
Excuse me. Good evening, President Cinto, members of the board, Superintendent Franklin, district staff, and members of the audience. Next Thursday, all of the seniors will be getting their senior photos taken, thanks to the efforts of our custodian, Mrs. Gallick, who is a professional photographer. All graduates will be getting photographs free of charge, thank God. Last Friday, we had a mock interview assembly, which taught us the do's and don'ts when interviewing. Thanks to Dr. Chuck Lewis and Frank McKay for being a part of the assembly and giving valuable insight. Next week, students will have an opportunity to go on a field trip to the Museum of Tolerance in Los Angeles, which students will learn about acceptance and tolerance. I heard it's a very emotional experience. Our senior exit interviews are starting after spring break, where seniors are presenting work hard on their portfolios, getting ready to be interviewed. That is all for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Amber. Next, we have Kishani Hathotuwugama from Foothill High School.
Good evening, President Cinto, members of the board, Superintendent Franklin, district staff, and members of the audience. It is my pleasure tonight to present to you the Foothill High School report for the month of March. Foothill celebrated Wellness Week, March 9th through the 13th, with healthy snacks every lunch, courtesy of dedicated volunteer parents. Clubs plastered posters around school suggesting how to stay healthy and fit. Wellness Week topped off with a Zumba instructor leading a class in the middle of the quad. Anyone who worked out received a free Jamba Juice the following day. The same week, Cowboys and Aliens overtook campus for Sadie's Spirit Week. After the Sadie's Cowboys vs. Aliens assembly, featuring our own talented performers like Jazz Ensemble and a baton twirler, Jillian Taylor, Foothill turned out Saturday, March 14th for the dance. Over 500 students arrived to a Western meets outer space gym, complete with a mechanical bull and an out-of-this-world lounge. This month, ASB began elections for next year's ASB cabinet members. General elections take place tomorrow, Tuesday, March 23rd. Because of our new school laptops, we have the ability to vote through HiQ, speeding up the voting process immensely. This year in sports marks amazing achievement for our winter athletes. Every one of our winter sports teams advanced to CIF. Girls basketball made it to semifinals. In an intense final, girls water polo lost to claim second. Our own Mario Galvez qualified for state in boys wrestling, placing him in the top 20 wrestlers in California. And of course, boys basketball won their CIF final in the Honda Center, igniting Foothill spirit and sending them into state play. We are proud to recognize the difficult training and efforts every team this winter put forth to contribute to such an amazing achievement for our school. Spring sports have all started league play. These include baseball, softball, boys and girls swimming, boys and girls track, boys and girls lacrosse, boys volleyball, boys golf, and boys tennis. Each have spent months preparing for these long-awaited seasons, and we wish them all the best of luck. Our varsity cheer and dance teams competed in a 3-day national competition at the Anaheim Convention Center, March 20th through the 22nd. Varsity cheer placed 4th out of 24 teams, and varsity dance placed 3rd. Both teams returned to Foothill in high spirits. Seniors this month count down the days to our annual Universal Senior Munch, March 30th. Excused from class for the day, we will enjoy a welcome breath of fresh air as we wind down our academic year by riding roller coasters. Back on campus, on March 31st, Foothill will host a mini college fair for all students to get involved in the admissions and decisions process. Over 20 colleges, universities, and junior colleges set up tables across the quad to spark interest in our future college scholars. Lastly, today, a committee reviewed our school for a Gold Ribbon Award, paying special attention to our FEAT program. FEAT, Foothill's Engineering and Technology program, begins freshman and sophomore years to prepare seniors to create their own robots, restore a 1929 Ford Model T, build solar track lights, and compete in go-kart and dirt track racing with cars built from scratch. We appreciate the Gold Ribbon Committee for spending their day at Foothill. This concludes my report for the month of March. Have a good night.
And from Beckman High School, Paris Hujali. Or Hajali. Is that right? Hajali.
Good evening, President Cinto, members of the board, Superintendent Franklin, district staff, and members of the audience. It is my pleasure tonight to present to you Beckman's report for the month of March. March has been a mellow time at Beckman High School as we transition into the end of our school year. As our winter sports have come to an end, our spring sports are off to a strong start and are currently hosting their league openers. Beckman Baseball defeated Northwood High School 6-5 last Friday as they continue to contend for the CIF championship. Last Wednesday, our boys varsity golf team beat CDM and set a new school record with a team overall score of 9 below par, with every individual player scoring below par as well.
Oh, wow.
Our varsity dance team competed at nationals last weekend, placing first overall in the palm category and second in crowd leader. Our boys volleyball has also been off to a tremendous start as they have placed first in the Vegas Invitational. Track and field, tennis, and swimming are also prepared to open up league with a strong start. This Thursday night, our orchestra will be performing at Segerstrom Hall, which is a huge honor. Our math and robotics clubs have also been excelling. Our math team placed third at the UC Berkeley competition a couple weeks ago. Our robotics club placed third at regionals and were only 4 points away from advancing to nationals. Furthermore, one of our peers, Jennifer McCleary, as noted earlier, was given the honor of being selected as a finalist in the Intel Science Talent Search, placing her among the top 40 young scientists in the nation. While in Washington, D.C., Jennifer met the President Obama and even had a planet named after her, Planet McCleary. On another note, our ASB is hosting our Party in the U.S. Sadie's Hawkins dance this Friday, the 27th, in our gym. Our Clash of the Classes competition is also being held throughout the week as students representing each class compete in lunchtime competitions to win the first place title for their respective class. Finally, we are hosting our senior parent meeting this Wednesday night, where parents will be notified of all the senior activities and deadlines involved. This concludes my March report. Thank you, and go Patriots.
One more report before we take a break. Bianca La Cavera, Beckman High, who is our student board member for the evening.
Good evening, President Cinto, members of the board, Superintendent Franklin, district staff, and members of the audience. It is my pleasure tonight to present to you the district board report on Read Across America Day at our schools. On March 2nd, in honor of the late Dr. Seuss's birthday, Tustin Unified Elementary Schools participated in the 18th annual Read Across America Day. Yet rather than just one day, many of our schools dedicated an entire week to highlighting the beauty of storytelling and the benefits of reading at an early age. Reading frequently is not only enriching to a child's creative spirit, but also invaluable to their education. By starting at a young age, students are able to build up strong vocabularies, improve attention spans, refine writing skills, and acquire a love for learning, leading to early academic success. But most importantly of all, experts say that children with strong reading backgrounds tend to score higher in the critical reading section of the SAT, and thus improving overall scores. So parents, take note that it is apparently never too early to start preparing your kid for the SAT. Our elementary schools conveyed the importance of Read Across America Day by emphasizing the fun that comes out of reading. At Benson Elementary, the day began with the Dr. Seuss Prezi presentation used to inform the students and guests of the day's significance. The rest of the week, special guest readers visited classrooms and shared their love for reading with the students. Readers included members from the California Highway Patrol, district office staff, firefighters, and parents. And to add to the fun, students dressed up each day of the week following this year's theme of Oh, the Places You'll Go. Ladera Elementary also featured guest readers, including Tustin Council member Al Murray, third grade teacher Miss Nobody's father, who's also a police officer, and librarian Adrian Reynolds' mother. Each class had unique activities planned for the day, but the Ladera Leopards had the most fun with the school-wide activities of Dr. Seuss trivia, Dr. Seuss door decorating contest, and Cat in the Hat face paintings done at lunch. At Helen Estock Elementary, Tustin Santa Ana Rotary Club members read to students in honor of the school's 50th anniversary. The members came dressed in costumes and, after enjoying stories with the children, donated the books they read to the classroom libraries. The Estock students also read with their class buddies, took time to write about Dr. Seuss's work, and used iPads to create research projects about Dr. Seuss's life. At Nelson Elementary, the students and staff dedicated the entire week to celebrating Read Across America Day and Dr. Seuss's birthday. They honored him and his stories with Crazy Hair Day to mimic Thing 1 and Thing 2's blue hair, Crazy Socks Day, Pajama Day, and Wear Red Day. Students were also treated with guest readers that included Dr. Franklin, district administrators, Tustin Police Chief Charles Solano, Captain Paul Garavon, and Lieutenant Bob Wright, 3 Orange County Fire Authority firefighters, and many more. Peters Canyon also had a week-long celebration beginning with students taking a Power Down pledge, in which they committed to turn off electronics and read for the week. Students' families celebrated together at Barnes & Noble for Family Reading Night, and as for on-campus, guest readers visited classrooms from the Tustin Police Department and Fire Department, and time was allotted for a Drop Everything and Read session. Meanwhile, at Loma Vista Elementary, the students went beyond Read Across America Day with a 3-week fundraiser called Reading Razor. Students took pledges for reading and raised over $11,000 for their school. At Hicks Canyon Elementary, the day was celebrated by inviting dads to come and read to the classrooms. Staff and students enjoyed watching the dads enter the campus with their favorite books in hand. Principal Cindy Agopian noted that the dads were at first nervous but quickly became confident readers. Their commendable performances were awarded with a cookie and a cup of coffee, and not to mention with the joy from such a priceless experience of sharing their love of reading. Mrs. Agopian wrote a short poem that summed up the day. Our readers were here, all shiny and bright. The children were excited and filled with delight. Dads and moms and grandpas, too, read to our children like they usually do. Thank you to those who visited that day. Dr. Seuss would be proud that we celebrate this way. Mrs. Agopian's poem embodies not only the Hicks Canyon spirit, but also all of the Tustin Unified Elementary School spirits in honoring Dr. Seuss and highlighting the importance of reading. This concludes my report. I hope the elementary students have inspired you to take the time to read a new book or enjoy a good story with your family. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're going to take a very short break to allow our student board member, our high school representatives to leave. And you're all welcome to stay, but if anyone wants to leave us this evening, it's a great time to do so without disrupting.
Good job, guys.
Any staff response to public comments?
Not this evening.
Okay, and I think next on our agenda is TUSD Connect Bright Spots.
Thank you very much. Crystal.
As always, we couldn't be prouder to showcase some of the things that are going on in our school district. And today I've invited Brandy Ramirez, who's one of our wonderful digital learning coaches, to share an idea that she came up with and worked with the other DLCs to coordinate. But basically the idea, and I'll let her explain it, but we realize the value of teachers seeing other classroom teachers using technology integrated within the curriculum and the power of that. And so she's here to talk about what she's done this year.
Hi, thanks for having me, and I have some fellows here and ladies, but no, we call them fellows, but yes. So anyways, this was an idea I came up with basically through my work with Tustin. And Tustin did a lot of work where we had teachers observing other teachers. And so I thought it would be a great addition to our already awesome program that's going on with digital learning and all of the fellows and all of the coaches. And so I came to Crystal and Garrett, and they supported me. So basically the vision was that TUSD teachers observing other TUSD teachers in classrooms with rigorous standards, gauging strategies supported by technology. And the reason why I put in TUSD teachers is because with Tustin, we would often go outside of the district. And as you've heard tonight, we have so many amazing things going on in our own district. And so I thought it would be so beneficial for teachers to be observing teachers within Tustin. This is just an example of one of the things that I took into account was that demonstration, discussion groups, and teaching others is such a powerful tool for learning. And so that was kind of the focus when we put this all together. A typical day, we call it tots, and I actually did bring tater tots to my group. So giving, you know, right? Who doesn't want warm tater tots? They weren't that hot. So anyways, we had a pre-brief with the fellows. So I took a group of third grade teachers. We pre-briefed on the day that we went. We were at Peters Canyon watching, observing Tim Larson. And those teachers that I had in the morning, we pre-briefed, we went in and observed the lesson. And before we observed, we talked about the SAMR levels, we talked about the technology support, how engaged the students were, and what was going on. Once we observed the lesson, we then debriefed. This is the typical coaching cycle. And we were actually able to have Tim Larson come out and talk with us. So it was great for not only the teachers that were observing, but Tim even said too, he was like, wow, I learned so much from them as well. So this is just an example of the form that we gave the teachers to take with them. It talks about what the teachers are doing, what the students are doing, the level or the content area, and then what component of SAMR. And then for follow-up, I sent out a Google form to my teachers that I worked with that day and just asked them a few basic questions like, what did you learn? How did it affect your teaching? Were you able to take something back to the classroom immediately? And then with that, we also want to make sure that we continue to keep that connection with them, emailing them, maybe Skyping from their classrooms to see what they're doing and how they're doing it. This is, I mean, I don't normally read the whole long slide, but this is from a teacher that went that day. Technology is always new and interesting and overwhelming at times for me, but today I walked away feeling so good about myself and my teaching that it was such a worthwhile experience to observe another teacher for half a day. The aha moment was realizing that I am also a good teacher who engages her students daily, whether I'm incorporating tech or not, just by observing Mr. Larson and his practices, as well as talking to the other tech fellows. I typically think I'm behind the curve in technology, but it is not because it's not my first language. But after discussing apps and what we all are doing in our classes, I felt like I'm in a parallel position, and I'm also benefiting my students. And here's a quick video. So with that, I would like to share, have the teachers, the three teachers that were acknowledged there, they're going to share what their day was like.
Hi, my name is Jody Kick, and I'm a third grade teacher at Thorman Elementary School. And I had the pleasure of observing Tim Larson at Peters Canyon Elementary School. And what we saw was an integration of technology into the math lesson. He used an app called Show Me, and it was really interactive with the students. They were able to display their knowledge through this app. And then afterwards, we were able to kind of organically collaborate with the other teachers that were there that came. And I walked away with a few more other apps and web-based technologies that I was able to then use in my classroom the very next day. And my kids were like, wow, this is good. You should go observe more often, get more ideas. But they were really excited to see the new technologies that I was able to bring back into my classroom, and they were very engaged with it. So that was really exciting, and I was very thankful to have that opportunity.
Hello, my name is Sky Winnings. I went to Orchard Hills. I saw a life science class, and they were doing a flower dissection, and it was really organized. The teacher had like half the group doing using their iPads and identifying structures with the iPad with like apps and moving it around. And I don't use iPads, so I was kind of like, oh, that's cool. How do I do something like that in my classroom? Because I got laptops, and then on the other side she had half the group with kids with digital microscopes, and they were taking pictures of the pollen on the flowers. And so I don't know, it gave me a lot of ideas to bring back to my classroom, how to like give visual aids digitally to enhance my labs. Basically what I feel like the biggest thing that I got out of it is like when you're using technology in the classroom, and you're kind of like in this bubble, and you're trying to be creative in new ways to come up with new lessons, and then to be able to have the opportunity to go see another teacher that's using great teaching methods with technology just kind of expands my mind and broadens my horizons. And so I really appreciate it, enjoyed it. It's a really fun experience. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Kim Pyle. I work at Hughes Middle School. I teach science and STEM. I had to write it down because I'm not good on the fly, so I'm just going to read. Mrs. Okenwa was who we went and saw, and I saw the same lesson that Sky saw, and it was really fun. I wanted to do it. She was very organized. The kids were engaged. It was very well designed. One of the biggest ahas that I took away was just how embedded technology was in their culture. Everyone had a charged iPad. Everyone knew how to use it fluently, and there were no excuses. Like, my iPad's broken or whatever, they were all there. So, and because there are so many different apps in the App Store, they can be overwhelming. It grows every day, and sometimes just going through them, you don't find what you're looking for. So being able to view specific apps was a very valuable experience, and it helped be able to narrow some of the choices down. The kids were taking notes in mud emoji. They were taking pictures and labeling real flowers in pic collage, capturing digital images of pollen and ovules on microscopes, using Poplet to compare and contrast them, and even submitting their scientific notebooks online in Google Docs. So everything was technology was completely embedded in everything. And the students enjoyed it and succeeded, and that was something that I took away from that. They were deeply engaged. I saw them investigating. I heard them collaborating. I witnessed them learn, and whether or not they realized it, they grew as scientists and gained confidence in their abilities as they were able to complete tasks used by professionals in the real world. The lesson at pieces I could use immediately in my own classroom, so the next day I was giving a test, and I decided to add a part to it from what I learned from Ms. Okenwa's class. And that was the students went on my haiku and downloaded a cross-section of a volcano and then used pic collage to label the parts of a volcano. And so it was great because it was, and my RSP kids could do it, my special ed kids could do it, my GATE kids could do it, and they scaffolded it on their own to fit their abilities, which was wonderful. I got some that were crazy detailed, and then even my RSP and special ed kids were able to do it and succeed in doing so. So I just really enjoyed being able to have the time to do that, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Just what I'm hearing, and we keep hearing when these bright spots come up, is how wonderful it is to watch other teachers do other things. Just curious, with all the apps that are out there, I mean, we all struggle with this on our personal devices and everything. Is there some library or place where not only can they see the apps, but maybe a YouTube video of how a teacher is using that in the classroom, so it brings that moment to more teachers if they can click on like a YouTube video and see how a particular teacher used that app for math or science or whatever?
Sure. On our TUSD Connect website, we have a lot of suggested apps for each grade level and content area, which helps kind of start to narrow the field. But as Kim alluded to, the apps are growing every day, so it is, it's an ongoing categorizing, right? It's an ongoing struggle to see it. YouTube videos are spectacular, and when we can capture teachers who are willing to let us do that, we certainly do. But that takes a lot of courage for them as well. So it's a constant asking to allow people to come into your room. I mean, to have a group of fellows and DLCs come into your room to see what you're doing is a lot of pressure. And if we could add video to that, I think you're right, it would be just perfect. So something to work on for sure.
Thank you. Okay, we are on to public comments. First, any public comment on an agenda item? I don't have a card to that effect. Did anyone want to comment on an agenda item? You can comment now or when the item is up on the agenda. Second is non-agenda items, and this is a 30-minute section. Each speaker is limited to 5 minutes, and we request that you state your name and your address. So let's see, the first card I have is Paul Callahan.
Hi, my name is Paul Callahan. My address is 1439 Montgomery Street in Tustin. President Cinto, Superintendent Franklin, members of the Tustin Unified School Board, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity to come and speak with you this evening. My name is Paul Callahan. I've been a resident of Tustin since 2012, and I'm here this evening to speak on behalf of Columbus Square residents. Quite a few who are here this evening. I think at last count we had about 162 of our residents had signed in. Maybe you could stand and wave your hands if you're here. We would like to convey to you our need to open Heritage Elementary School for the school year 2016-2017. Our understanding is that the opening of our elementary school is contingent on the passage of a new Community Facilities District, also known as a CFD, to fund the building of new middle and high schools located at Valencia and Tustin Ranch Road. We conveyed our support for the opening of Heritage and the new CFD to the Tustin City Council at a recent council meeting on March 17th. Our understanding from the city manager, Mr. Parker, is that the school district is in the process of forming the CFD, and once done, the city will vote in favor, providing that the school board agrees to open Heritage in September of 2016. As you know, residents of Columbus Square have been paying Melrose taxes to the school district for an elementary school for a number of years. For 2014-15, the amount of taxes paid will be over $1 million, paid by 875 homes. As of now, the school has been built but remains unopened as an elementary school. We support the opening of Heritage Elementary School for 2016-17. We have not having a local school has hurt many Columbus Square families. A recent informal survey we conducted showed that families are sending their children to 39 different schools throughout Orange County. We have also learned from local realtors that some families with school-aged children have been moving to Irvine and other areas where there are good local schools. Potential new families with children have steered away from Columbus Square and even Tustin itself in search of good schools and reasonable property taxes. Thus, a self-fulfilling prophecy is established where the lack of school-aged children is guaranteed by the absence of a local school, which won't open without school-aged children in the neighborhood. Superintendent Franklin informed us during an informal meeting on March 4th and in a recent letter that the school district will open Heritage in 2016 as a magnet school with an emphasis on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. Students will come from Columbus Square as well as from inside and outside the school district initially. Heritage would then serve as a feeder school into the new middle and high schools, which are also planned with a technology emphasis. We are delighted and excited to hear this news. It is long awaited. We are also happy to learn that the city and school board are working together again. Columbus Square residents urge the district to create the CFD as soon as possible so that the city of Tustin can approve and Heritage Elementary can be opened in September of 2016 for its original purpose. We look forward to hearing more details from the district as plans for the magnet program at Heritage are finalized and plans for the middle and high schools become more concrete. We cordially invite the district to Columbus Square to present these ideas when appropriate. Our community has a strong desire to be involved in the education of our children, and we believe that together we can build a highly rated K-12 school system in South Tustin. Heritage Elementary will be the root of this and will be good for all of Tustin. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Did you, of course, I'm sure you're aware that because this is not an agenda item, the board cannot respond. So we just want everyone to understand that we're only allowed to discuss items that are on our agenda by various state laws. But it would be helpful if you maybe left us a copy of the people who are here, if you're willing. That'd be great. And we do appreciate you all being here, especially with small children. I felt like I was at church. And I know that's very hard on all of you, so we appreciate the time you took and the very excellent presentation you made. Would you all like to stand again, those who were supporting Paul's?
Those who came to support the message that he gave would.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Okay. If you would like to speak during this time on an item that's not the agenda, if you would bring up a card, that would be great.
Good evening, members of the Tustin School Board. Thank you for listening to the concerned Tustin residents. My name is Roxana Bryant, and I live at 15212 Covington Street in Tustin. And my husband and I have lived in Columbus Square for 8 years, and we were dinks when we moved in, double income, no kids. And we were looking forward to some really great schools that were described in the purchase of our home. And so our daughter, my little Red Hill rocket over here, we've been very pleased with what Red Hill has done for her in her kindergarten kickoff. And just to note that the distance has really been tough for us. We thought we could manage the 6-mile drive or whatever it is, but it's been disruptive to our family dynamic. I'll make a Big Hero 6 reference that I know if you don't get, everyone else in the audience will get. But thank you for looking for a new angle to address the opening of our schools that we've paid taxes for 8 years or more for. We urge the school board to continue moving forward with this creative solution to the city council, and we're particularly anxious since our son will also be starting kindergarten in the fall of 2016. I personally want to also request consideration of planning with a partner such as the Child Development Centers and other great programs that you have established throughout the city for an on-site before and after school care program that would also open simultaneously with the schools opening. We want to say thank you to each and every one of you. As we know, this has not been easy, but we are fully confident in and appreciative of your school planning and your abilities to create absolutely great schools that match an absolutely great neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, I do not have another card. I just want everyone to know. I have one more from Roger Cavigan. I don't know.
Well, I'm not from Columbus Square, I'm sorry. I'm the Tustin Educators Association president. So good evening, President Cinto and rest of the board. I am here to tell you, first of all, that we just conducted our executive board election. Pam Erickson will continue on as our elementary director. Brandy Barnaby will continue on as our middle school director. And Ken Cooper will continue on as our high school director as well. So they've been elected for a 2-year term. TEA is also underway with our scholarship fund. It's a scholarship fund for TEA members. I encourage all of you to contribute to that fund. Dr. Lewis last year. Julie Mitchell contributed $40 to that. So just okay, gotcha. You got that on minutes, right? So that's currently underway, so feel free to send over a check if you like. That's perfectly acceptable. Also, TEA is very active in sending our members to be trained, and we sent 4 of our members to the Equity and Human Rights Conference in San Francisco. They're going to be making a report at our at our rep council meeting tomorrow night. So if anybody of you would like to be there to hear their report, that'd be great. We also sent about 20 teachers last weekend to the Good Teaching Conference, sponsored by the California Teachers Association, fully funded by TEA, and attending a wide variety of workshops, from literacy workshops to technology to any number of different topics. So TEA has really been on the forefront with educating our own members. With that being said, TEA has also been offering trainings at our TEA office. We have just concluded our child abuse and reporting workshop, where we had about 15-20 members show up for that. On April the 2nd, we're going to be hosting our unconscious bias workshop, recognizing biases in the classroom and what you could do to avoid those biases. We're also going to be doing our LGBT Breaking the Silence workshop coming up next month as well. In May, we're going to be doing our stress management workshop, coincidentally revolving around the end of the school year. So I'm sure that one's going to be very well attended. In addition to that, Lindy Werner-Dehan is in the audience. She's our CSEA president, and I'm going to be sending to you my personal cell phone number as well as hers, so in case you ever need to contact us for any reason, you will have our personal cell phone numbers at hand, so you can feel free to give us a call anytime. In addition to that, TEA, as well as CTA, is underway with contacting our community, our members, about the new ESEA authorization. And I'm sure many of you are aware with your contacts politically about the new ESEA authorization, also known as the No Child Left Behind. And TEA really does support the Opportunity Dashboard, which includes student success, and of the many myriad of things on that dashboard would include appropriate assessment. And I know we've been talking a lot about assessments in here with Common Core. We want to make sure that that's a part of the new ESEA authorization, as well as quality educators, which would include educators empowered to make site-based decisions. And I think we are well on our way within our district with the interest-based bargaining approach for that to happen. And then finally, quality schools. Of the myriad of things that are on that dashboard is to allow students access to class sizes that allow for one-on-one attention. And I think if we keep that in mind, that our classroom dynamics in terms of the number of students that are in our classroom per teacher ratios, we're going to be continuing on that successful route. And then finally, Read Across America. I know Dr. Lewis was out there, and I was out there, and it's so amazing to see on the elementary school level. I teach high school. When I went to all these elementary schools to read, you ask a question, and every single kid wants their hands up and be recognized. And I go to my classroom the next day, and I ask a question, and nobody raises their hand. And I'm like, what? Maybe I picked the wrong subject matter, but it was so much fun to go out there to those school sites and read to those kids. It was just so enlightening. And thank you so much for your time. It's been great.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is the second interim financial report. And if there's anyone we'll just take a 30-second break in case you weren't here for that.
You know, there's nothing like a budget to have people move along and get the meeting going. So that's nice to see you clear out. But this is for your midnight entertainment here. Okay, so Madam President, members of the board, tonight we'll be presenting an overview of the district's 14-15 second interim budget report. Diana will begin by talking about continuing the race. Diana.
At first interim, we examined our fiscal health. For tonight, our theme is continuing the race. We want to focus on training and conditioning for the marathon that lies ahead and implement a strategy to pace ourselves for the long haul. We will review the budget timeline, changes since the first interim report, revenue and expenditures for the current fiscal year, briefly talk about the proposed state budget, go over the district's multi-year projections. We'll also point out some strategies that can help us maintain our reserves and continue the long run. Review the hurdles ahead, and lastly, the certification. As a review, next fiscal year begins the new single budget adoption process. The differences between the single and dual adoption are subtle and really more a matter of form than substance. Single adoption, the budget must be reviewed under the state budget after the state budget is passed and then revised only if necessary. In essence, eliminating the revised final budget we normally present in August. Since the first interim report, adjustments have been made for award letters. The LCSF calculation has been updated. The overall budget estimates have been refined. In regard to the LCAP, work is continuing on next year's LCAP report. The current year LCAP estimates have been honed, and the multi-year projections include reserves for future LCAP designations. Now Jocelyn will go over the current year budget.
Thank you, Diana. We know that revenues are like carbs, and we need to load up. At approximately $161 million, LCFF is the largest portion of the budget and represents about 80% of total revenue. Federal revenues are at $9 million and include increases to special education preschool grant, Title I, and AP testing. Other state revenue is the second largest source of income and is approximately $23.6 million and reflects a decrease in special education AB 602 funds. Other local income is projected at $8.5 million and incorporates additional funds related to community redevelopment, Tustin, and Tustin Public School Foundation grants. Overall, revenues are projected at $202 million. Budgeting for expenditures is like running a marathon. You need to conserve and use your resources wisely to be able to go the distance. Expenditures for salaries and benefits are at $168.8 million and have decreased from the first interim report, primarily due to staffing refinements, budget adjustments, and school site transfers. Books and supplies are $11.6 million and have decreased based on site budget transfers. Services and other operating expenditures come in at $23.3 million and reflect an increase associated with school site budget transfers and special education. Capital outlay is projected at $780,000. Other ALCO, which includes costs for county program, is at $2.4 million. Total expenditures are projected at $207 million. Now Tony will review the state budget and proposed budget.
Thank you, Jocelyn. You know, as Jocelyn and Donnie have mentioned or discussed, very little has changed with regards to the state budget for this fiscal year. However, in January, the governor, in his 2015-16 budget proposal, actually proposed a budget that is has improved the fiscal outlook for education going forward on the short term, and also has identified several key aspects. One, the steadily improving state economy that's confirmed by both the Department of Finance and the Legislative Analyst's Office, that is fueled by increased funding through the passage of Prop 30. Continued support for specialized programs such as adult education and career technical education. A commitment to stay on track with regards to funding the LCFF, or the local control funding formula, to the greatest extent possible. And continuing to pay down the significant wall of debt that the state currently faces, as well as establishing a rainy day fund for the future. Overall, a stable state budget translates into a promising education budget. So with regards to the multi-year budget projections, really, in developing the multi-year projections, it's important to recognize that with the multitude of challenges that we continue to face, many of them have nothing to do with actual numbers. They really are related to factors that influence educational goals. Suddenly, when we're surrounded by all of these factors and goals that we need to accomplish, we lose sight of what actually fuels our ability to meet our objectives. In the end, it's often forgotten that having a healthy ending fund balance to allocate for our various goals allows us to maintain the pace during our marathon run and delay the onset of fatigue and also another economic downturn. Trouble is in the horizon when we talk about the budget, when we run out of the fuel that to basically address our pace in meeting our accomplishments. And so things start to decline. So in school business, we consider multi-year projections the ultimate marathon race. So in reviewing the multi-year projections, we want to talk about overall revenues, which are the fuel in which get us through the race. They are projected to steadily increase over the next 2 years. Particularly with regards to the local control funding formula for next year, it's projected to increase by approximately $14.8 million, while other revenue components are actually projected to decline. In the fiscal year 16-17 fiscal year, revenues are actually starting to stabilize. For future years, expenditures, which basically burn the carbs or revenues that we actually are earning during our race, they're actually expected to stabilize after factoring out one-time expenditures, incorporating growth, salary and benefit commitments, as well as other cost increases and changes. The projected ending balances that are currently healthy, but will significantly change and decline a bit once we implement the district's priorities for the next year, and they're kicked in to incorporate into the budgeted expenditures. The reserves for economic uncertainties are actually projected to decline a bit, but still continue to be either at or above the state's minimum reserve levels. We do expect them to improve should the state budget improve in the future as well. And so these reserves will be part of our plan should shortfalls happen in the future. So it's important to maintain those reserves. And so before we talk about the reserves, I really want to talk about reviewing the 5 basic components of school district reserves. There are those non-spendable reserves that are already been obligated for items such as revolving cash and stores. You can't spend these funds twice. They've already been committed. Restricted reserves are those reserves that are by law restricted in nature or any other condition that has been placed on those funds, such as lottery, Medi-Cal, Common Core, mental health funds, as well as any other local program designated funding. Committed reserves are those funds that are earmarked and directed by the board for a specific use. These funds fall outside of the reserve cap requirement, which I'll talk about a little more down in the few slides down. Then there's the assigned reserves that the board basically designates for other purposes, leaving finally the reserves for economic uncertainty to carry on in terms of dealing with fiscal uncertainties. So next I would like to talk about a few of the reserves and the purpose for which we use them. First, there are those non-spendable or assigned reserves that really have no option but to maintain. These amounts must be set aside as they have already been committed or, again, required by statute. They include, as I mentioned before, revolving cash, stores inventory, but it also includes benefit account reserves as well as accrued vacation. And then there's those other reserves that are assigned by the board for very specific purposes. Most of these designations are not new, and we've explained this to the board in the past, so we're not going to go into depth with that. But there are a few items that I just want to put, or a few reserves I want to just point out for the board's benefit. The LCAP, or priority reserves, represent the increased funding that has yet to be committed for expenditures over the next 2 fiscal years. As we develop next year's budget, these reserves will be committed for very specific expenditures. Then there's with regards to another new reserve is with regards to the significant investment that we made regarding technology. We heard some very nice presentations about technology. There's also a similar need with regards to 21st century classroom furniture. Classroom furniture has been identified as another long-term need in the district, and as some furniture is in excess of 30 years old. So we are going to be recommending an initial down payment. We have a $750,000 reserve for this year set aside, and an ongoing commitment to expend money to basically replace our furniture needs over the next about 5 to 7 years. It's a very costly endeavor, but we think it's worth it and will improve the instructional environment for kids. And then there's the reserve for economic uncertainty that the state uses to gauge the minimum level necessary to absorb uncertainties. The reality is that this reserve does not even cover 2 months of actual salaries and benefits. And then speaking about the reserve cap, I've talked about this just a minute ago. As the board may recall, effective with the 15-16 fiscal year budget, the cap on reserves takes effect only if certain conditions occur. A common thought is, what's the big deal? This trigger is unlikely to happen. Well, this chart here that you'll see before you is prepared by school services, shows that the likelihood that the conditions will be met and the trigger will be pulled within the next few years. As you will note, that this fiscal year, 3 of the 4 elements were actually met, increasing the likelihood that the trigger could be pulled within the next 2 years. We know that while in the short term, California's economic climate appears to be bright, our district, like many others across the state, will continue to be forced to scale many hurdles. Those hurdles include increased pension costs, the first step to the end of Proposition 30 taxes, LCAP designations, salary negotiations, health and welfare cost increases, as well as additional sick pay for substitutes and short-term assignments. Failing to prepare adequately for these critical hurdles can make the path to fiscal solvency difficult and increase the possibility of hitting that fiscal wall. We want to develop strategies that can sustain us through the exhaustion of a long race, a marathon, and condition us to utilize our reserves responsibly to propel us forward. Consequently, there are many potential tripping hazards. There are many potential tripping hazards that require our attention. Of major concern are over the next 2-3 years are the usual suspects. Sustainability of the economy. How long will the economy actually continue to improve? How will California, address the ups and downs of the national economy? How will we manage increased expectations? With increased resources comes increased expectations, usually well-intentioned and well beyond our available funding. It's easy to forget that the local control funding formula is a model that's based on getting us back to the 2007-8 funding levels after factoring inflation. Good fiscal management can easily be lost in the excitement of funding the next district priority without the constant reminder of solid fiscal practices. And then there are the increased regulations. What will be the next, LCAP requirement, and both from the federal side and the state side. Another concern is the meeting our district enrollment projections. We saw a lot of folks here from the Heritage area. Recall that recently, in the last couple of years, our elementary enrollment numbers have actually declined. So we need to be wary of that. And then speaking of the reserve caps, maintaining the bare minimum reserve is not only not practical, but it's really not recommended. Not recommended by the County Office of Education, by school services, by CSBA, by AXA, or by CASBA. And so the LAO recently came out and conducted a study on the purpose and the rationale for the need for reserves beyond the minimum level. After an extensive analysis, the LAO concluded that healthy reserves actually help districts avoid risks and costs that would otherwise hinder a district's ability to deliver services to students. Further, the LAO recommended that districts actually publicly adopt a policy which explains the purpose of the reserves to address economic uncertainties. I am happy to report to the board that such a policy was actually adopted by this board back in May of 2011. There was also a reference in the LAO report that with the recommendation that the Government Finance Officers Association made, which basically represents all federal, state, and local governments and governmental budget officers, who suggest that government agencies should maintain at least 2 months of operating expenses to mitigate financial uncertainties. Currently, our reserves, as they now stand, are below that recommended level. So consequently, should there be no change in at the state level with regards to the minimum reserve requirements that we're facing with regards to the cap, we'll be forced to seek board approval to look at adopting, when we adopt the fiscal year 15-16 budget, to commit these funds as non-spendable and otherwise directed by the board that will be outside the new spending reserve cap limits. Committing reserves actually aids us in avoiding risks, continuing the delivery of services to students, addressing unexpected costs, and saving large purchases, such as furniture and other needs, and managing our cash flow. So we're asking tonight for the board to certify the second year report as positive. And in doing that, the board understands its fiduciary responsibility to maintain its fiscal solvency in the current and 2 subsequent years, and that it basically will implement whatever adjustments that will be necessary to maintain a positive certification. So with that, we're open to questions or comments from the board.
I'm not sure, do we? Yeah, get a motion first.
Oh, you have a motion. Okay.
Oh, to receive the report?
Yes.
Okay, may I have a motion to receive the financial report and certify our financial obligations for the next 2 years?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Tony, I just want to thank you for getting us through the Great Recession. And if we did not have those reserves, we wouldn't have made it. I mean, the state was putting off deferring and deferring and deferring, and if we didn't have a healthy cash situation, we would have been one of the many districts that didn't meet its financial obligations, and we did every year right through that terrible time. So, may I have a motion then for the...
Madam President, I move adoption of the consent calendar in its entirety with the exception of personnel consent item 8.d.3, classified personnel report B, and personnel item 8.d.6, University of Redlands student teaching agreement. And the reason for those two is one does for sure, and one may benefit a close personal family member of mine, and so I need to both recuse myself from any discussion and abstain on any vote on those two items.
Okay, may I have a second?
Second.
All right, and I wanted to ask Mrs. Nielsen to make a comment on the new robotics courses and the marine ecology course that are on the consent calendar.
Absolutely. We are excited to bring forward 2 new robotics courses for our high schools. The first one, the robotics class, is, both of them are part of the new Pathways programs that we're putting into place, and there's a lot of confidence and enthusiasm around the robotics. The first course is going to be utilized primarily by Foothill. It will be the first class in the AP Computer Sci pathway and computer science development. It's the start of that pathway. The second course on your agenda, Robotics 2, will be used at Beckman High School and Tustin High School. It will be the second class in an engineering pathway that those schools are pursuing. They'll do the VEX kits in the Intro to Engineering first class, and this one will be the second course in that 3-course pathway. So we're excited about both of those. The AP Human Geography course is a new AP opportunity for 9th graders. We think it's a great entry-level AP class and have had a lot of interest in this course in the past, so we're looking forward to offering that one.
And marine ecology?
Oh, yes, this is, for the most part, this is a name change with a very slight modification to the content, but as resubmitted to the UCs with this minor adjustments, it's now a potential for lab science credit, which has been granted now in the A through G compliance.
I'd also like to comment that we have the Measure BB, we're accepting the Measure BB funding of $242,000 from the city of Irvine, which continues to support our schools in Irvine with nurses and counselors, and we very much, some other things as well, but we very much appreciate the $242,000 that we received from the city. With that, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, any opposed? And may I have a motion for the other 2 items, 8D3 and 8D.6, is that correct? Yeah.
I'll move approval of the balance.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
I'll abstain.
Abstaining.
And 1 abstention. Okay, I think that brings us to the student Okay. Need a motion for student number 2014-15-17, and it's approve a stipulated expulsion with conditions from February 5th through June 18th, 2015.
I'll move approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Student number 2014-15-18, stipulated expulsion from February 27th through June 18th, 2015.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And student number 2014-15-19, a suspended expulsion with conditions, February 27th through June 18th, 2015.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And last, a readmission, student number 2013-14-32, approve readmission.
So moved.
And seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Board member comments. I'm going to just read about Teachers of the Year and then pass the baton. Tustin Unified announced its 2015 Teachers of the Year. And our elementary teacher of the year is from Arroyo Elementary School. She is Janice Leach, and she's a second/third grade teacher. Our secondary teacher of the year is Johnny Gonzalez, who is a mathematics and computer science teacher at Beckman High School. The program recognizes outstanding teachers who have displayed extraordinary teaching, creativity, and excellence in their school and community. Mrs. Leach and Mr. Gonzalez will represent Tustin Unified at the Orange County Teacher of the Year program. And these two teachers and all the nominees from each school will be recognized at the Tustin Public Schools Foundation 21st Annual Teacher of the Year Dinner on Friday, May 15th at 5 p.m. at the Irvine Marriott Hotel. And there's nothing quite like the excitement of seeing these teachers when they have the press come in and the register and fanfare, and they're always so humble. They don't expect it. It's very touching. Would anyone else like to go next?
I'll go next. Several items. First is Happy New Rus to those in our television audience and who celebrate the Persian New Year. That was this following weekend, and I've discovered that New Year's celebrated at different months. Apparently in Sri Lanka it's in April, so we have several still to come. Sure. Last week I had the opportunity at the League of Women Voters to hear from Tustin Police Sergeant Manuel Arzati, who was recommended by the police chief to discuss with us the issue of mental health in our society, and boy, was he the right person to recommend. Sergeant Arzati is very well versed in all these issues that impact so many families, and he is training not only the Tustin Police Force, but other law enforcement personnel on how to better deal with people they encounter who have different forms of mental illness. And it was very reassuring to know that our police department is really up on this significant issue. Also, last weekend, I had the opportunity to attend the Interfaith Youth Council of Orange County Faith Forum, which was held at St. Paul's Episcopal Church. And what was very impressive about that, it was a group of about 120, 125 high school students from all three high schools in our district and many, many high schools in the neighboring district, representing about 9 different faiths. And the way that they were able to respectfully and carefully articulate their own faith tradition, listen to the faith tradition, and compare their faith tradition with those of other people, and reach common ground and talk about the things that they shared in common, and that they needed to work. We need to work together on. It was really impressive to see our high school students and the way that they handled themselves, the way that they were able to deal with these things, and really would represent. I just wish more young people could get involved in that kind of conversation, and really represents a way forward. We'd have a lot fewer problems if people like the young people who were there had more influence in our society. So that was very impressive. And finally, I wanted to mention that we had 3 of our administrators named as Administrators of the Year and by the Association of California School Administrators, Region 17. As middle school Principal of the Year, Tracy Vanderhayden, who's our Principal of Pioneer. As a co-administrator, her Assistant Principal, Troy Fresh. And as an elementary co-administrator of the year, Kimberly Thompson, who's an assistant principal over at Gene Thorman Elementary School. And, that's where we have the principal for Curry Thorman, and we have 2 assistant principals, one for Curry and one for Thorman. And so that's really impressive that we had those 3. They're recognized for their leadership skills, professionalism, and the innovation and commitment to educating every child in their districts. And they will go ahead and be part of an awards dinner on May 11th. And I just know that I can tell you for sure that the campuses of those administrators were alive with excitement when that announcement happened I think it was a week before last. Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead. Okay. We all had the opportunity to attend the 40th Annual Friends of Tustin Schools Community Recognition Dinner last week, March 18th, at Shurhar Malat. We stumble how to say that, in Irvine. It was presented by the Tustin School Management Association and the PTA-PTO Coordinating Council. The theme was Community Volunteers, TUSD Superheroes in Action. District administrators recognized volunteers, community members, and business leaders for supporting our students and our schools. TISMA presented 2 community service awards, and boy, let me tell you, both of these were long time overdue. The people that are recognized every year, they deserve it long before they're recognized, but as long as I've been around, both of these 2 groups really deserve it. Al Enderle, the owner of Enderle Center for supporting our high schools and students in academics, athletics, and the performing arts for over 3 decades. He has done so much behind the scenes, quietly, humbly, in our school district for more than 30 years. And the Assistance League of Tustin for their many programs supporting students in schools during the past 50 years of service in the community. And their programs are just so extensive to list, but it involves so much, and they do so much for our kids in our district. And just delighted that we could watch both those groups get, Al Enderle and then the Assistance League of Tustin to be recognized. Great evening.
Thank you. Francine and I participated in the luncheon for the principals of the day, and I just wanted to say that was a very interesting experience. We had all sorts of some people from all walks of various professions, from in the government to the private sector. We had 4 of our sitting council members being principals. We had the Tustin and Irvine Police Chiefs, Irvine Police Chief Maggard and Tustin Police Chief Charlie Solano. There was the Orange County Register publisher, Orange County Register publisher and CEO. There's the founder of Wahoo's Fish Tacos, among many others. And what I liked most about it was just receiving a testimonial from all these individuals who shared what happened during their day at their respective schools. And it was a great feeling seeing people from the community that help make our community strong really appreciate what we are doing day in and day out at the schools in terms of improving our students' lives and educating the kids. And they, for some of them, it was a big culture shock. They haven't been around when everybody has an iPad in their hands, and we have our Toshiba laptops in the high school and a lot of technology that's interplaying with the education now. So I think it was an eye-opener for many of them, but it was a big shot in the arm for us to see their appreciation. We thank them for their support and their willingness to take that time out of their day, their valuable time to come watch what we do. So we appreciate that. Thanks.
Need my mic. I have a few things. A week ago Saturday, for the 2nd year in a row, my family, we attended the Miss Tustin pageant, which was held at the Performing Arts Center at Beckman High School. There were 13 contestants, and Miss Tustin actually goes on to Miss California, which goes on to the Miss America pageant. But more so, Miss Tustin is really ambassador for the city and spends a lot of time in the city and representing the city. This year, there were 13 contestants. 7 of the contestants were seniors from Foothill High School. 3 of them were seniors from Beckman High School, and the other 3 were young ladies from local colleges. Last year, if you recall, Emma Foss, who was a senior at Foothill High School, was crowned Miss Tustin. And this year, Diana Weingart from Beckman High School was crowned Miss Tustin. So for 2 years in a row, we have had 2 of our students become Miss Tustin, which I thought was fantastic. The other thing is when Lynn was talking about our police force and Sergeant Arzetti, who I've seen a presentation on at our Chiefs Advisory meeting. I want to, if you haven't seen it already, this Wednesday at 6 o'clock in the new Tustin Community Center, which is the marketplace where the theaters used to be upstairs. The city and the Irvine Company have turned that into several meeting rooms and 2 theater areas. There's going to be a presentation starting at 6 o'clock by the Tustin Police Department. First a presentation and then a discussion interactive with the audience on the use of force by the police department and when it becomes necessary. Our police department is extremely transparent when it comes to talking about these types of issues, and they want to be out there in the forefront with all the things that have happened in so many other communities and cities regarding the use of force. Our department wants to make sure that it's very clear to the community when use of force is necessary and the different types of use of force. There's a short video that's going to be shown which actually shows a group of community activists from not one that's been in the news recently, but a use of force incident that involved a death to a perpetrator of a crime that they were demonstrating against. And you hear these things, people always say, well, why don't you just shoot the gun out of his hand or shoot the knife out of his hand, or why don't you just shoot him in the leg? This video goes into some of that, and they actually took some of these community activists and put them through the training, the simulation training that the police go through, as far as the milliseconds that you have to make a decision in regards to imminent danger, and how why you can't just shoot the gun out of somebody's hand from 30 yards away or from 10 yards away, etc. So I really encourage everyone to attend that if possible. It starts at 6 o'clock. It'll probably go till about 7:30. The next thing is I attended a out-of-state college fair at Beckman High School 2 weeks ago. I thought it was very well done. There were over 20 representatives, and the representatives were not actually college admissions people, but there's an organization based here in Southern California that is called the Regional Admissions Counselors Association, and there are about 80 of them, and they represent colleges that are from out of state, so that you have a liaison or a conduit that you don't have to necessarily fly back to visit a college before hearing in great detail and talking to someone who is extremely familiar with and can show you anything you want about the college and talk to them about majors, et cetera, et cetera. It's as good as a tour, if not better, because you have an individual right here. And they had over 20 representatives from different schools, many of whom I had not heard of, and they are Division I level schools, which was extremely interesting. And the whole aspect of it was, number one, to let people know that there are those kinds of resources right here, even if you're looking at a school on the East Coast. And number two, that given the fact that over 70% of colleges and universities are located east of the Mississippi, that our students shouldn't confine themselves to wanting, necessarily thinking that, California is the only place that has colleges and universities, and that in a great many instances, it's I don't want to say easier, but it can be a little bit easier in admissions going out of state because there are a lot of colleges that want students from out of state. It can be less expensive going out of state, and scholarship money can be a lot more by going out of state. And there are quite a few schools, and the list is increasing, that no longer are requiring an SAT or an ACT score. They are going more so with GPA because of the longevity of it, and with other activities you're involved in, and a great many of the scholarships are based upon those factors. Which leads me into April 26th, which at the Anaheim Convention Center, there is going to be a national college fair, which will be going on all day long, and there will be probably, I think, close to 200 different colleges represented. So I would encourage all of our students, whether they be ninth grade on up or younger, to attend April 26th, which is a Sunday at the Anaheim Convention Center. And finally, last thing is, a week ago Saturday on April 14th was the final robotics competition of the middle school teams on Saturday morning at Orchard Hills. Mr. Kerr was quite involved with that. He has plenty of video on his iPad that he can show you and or send you. It's absolutely amazing. It's no different in sense than the high schools, where the students receive a box of parts, for lack of a better word, with no instructions, not even an IKEA diagram. And they have to figure out how to put it together and how to get it to work and how to do activities. And there's points and different types of competitions and points scored. And it was just unbelievable watching these kids do that. And that was also done in conjunction and with the help of the Tustin Public Schools Foundation, who really, with the Summer Academy last year, provided us with the impetus to get the core of students at each middle school to, I guess in a sense, not only be the initiators, but also in a sense be kind of some mentors initially at each middle school for the beginning of robotics at the middle schools. So when that kicks back up again in the fall, I would encourage you to start going to some of those competitions. That's it for me.
Okay, well, not to forget, Hillview High School has been named a 2015 Model Continuation High School by the California Department of Education. It is one of 29 continuation high schools from across the state selected for the honor, and Hillview is being recognized for providing innovative programs and comprehensive services to students who may otherwise have been at risk of not graduating. And there were over 62,000 students who attended California's 480 continuation high schools. And Hillview has been a model for so long, and they keep re-upping, I think is what it is, because they do such a fantastic job there.
If you do the math, that puts it on the top 6%.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Lynn. And we are having the TUSD 2015 Classified Employee of the Year program. It's an annual program that recognizes classified employees and support services. And it's for someone who has gone above and beyond the call of duty at his or her job at a school or department. Each school chooses a site classified employee of the year, and the district committee selects the TUSD Classified Employee of the Year. And all the nominees will be recognized at the May 18th board meeting. I think that does it. May I have a motion for adjournment? I don't think we have any, motion for adjournment. Oh, is there? Okay, hold on. Okay, we are going to adjourn our meeting in memory of retired TUSD elementary school teacher Anita Jorgensen.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.